So maybe you're familiar with the best-selling book Love and Respect, or maybe you've been taught its main idea, which is a wife needs love just as she needs air to breathe, and a husband needs respect just as he needs air to breathe. That's from page 37 of the book. In this video, I'm simply going to share why this concept that men need respect and women need love is not true, and tell you why that should actually matter to you and the quality of your relationship. That's today on RelationShots. Hey, welcome to RelationShots. If this is your first time hanging out with us, don't forget to download your free guide to intimacy. You will see a link in the description area below. This will walk you through 4 areas of intimacy in your marriage: recreational, emotional, spiritual, and physical, and give you some practical ideas on how you can increase connection starting today. So as I mentioned in the intro, you probably have heard Emerson Eggerich's book, Love and Respect. And the tagline of it is the love she most deserves and the respect he desperately needs. This book has sold more than 2 million copies. And I'm sure it's given a lot of couples language to talk with each other about how to better care for one another. So there's probably some positive in it. I'm not suggesting there's nothing good that's come out of the book, but I am suggesting that the basis for the idea that men need respect and women need love is faulty, and this belief actually does have negative effects on marriage that has been proven in surveys that I'm going to talk with you today. So here's what Emerson says on page 1 of the book about its goal. He says, "You may remember how the Beatles sang, 'All you need is love.' I absolutely disagree with that conclusion. 5 out of 10 marriages today are ending in divorce because love alone is not enough. Yes, love is vital, especially for the wife, but what we have missed is the husband's need for respect. This book is about how the wife can fulfill her need to be loved by giving her husband what he needs, respect." That's page 1 of the book. That's the goal and the point of this book. And to prove his thesis, Emerson leans on a survey done by Shaunti Feldhahn in her book, For Women Only. Let me just say this. I think Shaunti Feldhahn is a great author. I have a bunch of her books: The Good News About Marriage, The Surprising Secrets of Highly Happy Marriages, and her and Michael Seitzma's latest book, The Secrets of Sex and Marriage. All phenomenal books. So this is not any hatred towards her. It just happened to be her survey. And in her book, For Women Only, she surveyed 400 church-going men and asked the following question. Think about what these 2 negative experiences would feel like for you: to feel alone and unloved in the world, or to feel inadequate and disrespected by everyone. That was the setup. And then if you were forced to choose one, which would you prefer? Would you rather feel alone and unloved, or inadequate and disrespected? And in the survey, 74% of the men said they would rather feel alone and unloved if they had to choose that. And so the conclusion was men would rather feel unloved than they would disrespected. And this is part of what Emerson built this whole love and respect idea on. Now, there's 2 problems here. One is that question is a double-barreled question. It's alone and unloved, or inadequate and disrespected. So you really don't know which word the respondent is reacting to. Are they reacting to alone or unloved? Are they reacting to inadequate or disrespected? You don't know. That's one problem with it. The second problem is that the assumption is now that men feel this way, women must feel the opposite, and would not have answered the same. So since men, it was the inadequate and disrespect, women, it must be the unloved part. So there we conclude women need love and men need respect. Then Emerson takes that and then he uses one Bible verse, Ephesians 5:33, to support the idea that husbands are supposed to love their wives and that wives are supposed to respect their husbands, as if this verse was created to be a theology of marriage. And boom, there's all the proof you need to support the idea that men need respect and women need love. And if women don't get love, they don't give respect. And if men don't get respect, they don't give love. And they get stuck in what he calls the crazy cycle. Now, Let me tell you why this should actually matter. Why am I even taking time to make a video on it? Because I really don't make many videos that refute something or that speak ill of something. Most of my videos are just practical ways to help you grow. Here's why this should matter to you. Because we have a belief system, and our belief system will shape the way we respond. So in 2012, there was a psychologist named Shauna Springer, and she surveyed 300 well-educated women with the exact same question in Shanti Feldhand's survey, which was, would you rather feel alone and unloved or inadequate and disrespected? And 75% of these women answered just like the men in the other survey, that they would rather feel alone and unloved. Pretty similar to the 74% of men. Then she did another survey later on with 1,200 women where there was more diversity in education, because the first one was mostly well-educated women. So a bigger survey with more diversity, and still 65% of the women answered they would rather feel alone and unloved, just like the men did. So fast forward another one. Sheila Gregoire, who's a researcher and author, took this a step further in her survey. For one of her books she surveyed 20,000 women, 3,000 men, and answered all kinds of different questions about relationships and sex. She has written a couple books, The Great Sex Rescue, She Deserves Better, and used a lot of the info from these surveys for those books. But she also surveyed around this idea. And so what she did in her survey was she took the 4 words, alone, unloved, inadequate, and disrespected, and asked both men and women to rank them from worst to not so bad, just to eliminate any confusion from the double barrel question. And here's the results. So she asked men and women, rank these four experiences: alone, unloved, inadequate, or disrespected, from worst, number 1 was worst, to least worst, number 4. And here were the results. Both men and women ranked unloved as the worst, and alone as the least worst option. So men didn't put disrespect, and women put unloved. They both said unloved is the worst of those 4 things to experience. And watch this. Number 2 for women was disrespect. Number 2 worst for men was actually inadequate. So men had 3 at disrespect and then 4 at alone. So, contrary to the premise of the whole book of Love and Respect, that men need some respect that women will never understand, and women need a love that men may never understand, both men and women want love the most. And women, not men, actually reported disrespect being the second worst. So why does this even matter? Glad you asked, because our beliefs drive our decisions, and our decisions determine the outcomes we get. That's in life, that's also in relationships. So if you believe something to be true, that will drive your behaviors inside the relationship and will determine, good or bad, the outcome that you get out of your relationship. That's a fact. So Sheila Gregoire's survey also went further and asked this question, both of men and women. When you got married, did you believe that men need respect in a way that women can never understand? That was the question they were asked, and they were asked to rank on a scale of strongly disagree. I did not believe that. To strongly agree, I was taught that, and I believe that. On that scale, anywhere from strongly disagree to strongly agree. And those who answered strongly agree, I did believe that when I got married, scored 10 points lower on a relationship flourishing score. That's a scale that determines how you feel about your relationship and is it flourishing. So those who believe the idea that men have a need for respect that women will never understand, both men and women, this is not just women, both men and women, those who said strongly agree, they did believe that, scored 10 points lower than those who said strongly disagree on a relationship flourishing score. So, believing this idea that men have a need for respect women will never understand leads to lower levels of marital satisfaction, according to the survey. And that belief also negatively impacted things like how they felt about decision making, how they felt about the friendship with the spouse, how they felt about their sexual satisfaction, how they felt about the emotional maturity in the relationship. So let me close with this. Instead of thinking your wife just needs love and your husband just needs respect, I want to encourage you to approach your marriage by thoughtfully recognizing, guess what? You both desire love and respect, and safety and appreciation and encouragement and emotional connection and a whole bunch of other things. A healthy marriage will require that you both assess the unique character and qualities of one another, and that you would approach your relationship with curiosity about what you are both desiring from each other, instead of approaching your marriage with some blanket conclusion about how you both can have the marriage you ultimately want just by providing one thing to the man and one thing to the woman. So I'd love to hear your comments, your thoughts on this video. Did you believe this idea that men just need respect and women just need love? And if so, how has that impacted how you show up in your relationship? And how does it impact your relationship for the better or for the worse? Drop a comment. Let's have a conversation about it. And until next time, I'll see you right back here on RelationShots.